Welcome to what I'm sure will be the first of many, many episodes of GOP Dysfunction year 2025. Well, it looks like Johnson had some high hopes that he would be easily reelected to be Speaker of the House. Take a look at this.
I have that ability. We will get everyone together, rowing in the same direction, and we will deliver for the American people. We have no margin for error.
When was your last conversation with Thomas Massie?
Probably a week and a half ago. Well, before we left town for Christmas, so it had been December 20th. Look, Thomas is a friend. I respect him. We have difference of opinion. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. But I have 220 colleagues here on the Republican side, and we got to move together. I mean, we don't have any option. You know, the principle that we try to advance here is that no one's ever asked to compromise core principles, core ideals or beliefs, but we have to compromise on occasion our preferences because that's the nature of a deliberative body like ours. So we're never going to get everything we want. We have 435 colleagues here in this chamber, and it's a messy situation sometimes, the sausage making. But we are going to do that in an effective and efficient manner because we have to.
Yes.
We got to fix everything, and we're ready to go.
Core beliefs. That's hysterical. But Johnson is right. The GOP majority is very, very slim and could only be slimmer if they had one fewer vote. It's 219 Republicans, 215 Democrats. We know that Hakeem Jeffries is going to get all of the 215 Democratic votes. So Johnson literally cannot lose one more vote. Massie is determined to vote against him. The thing that's weird, though, is this is not a shoo-in, but there are no other real contenders to replace Johnson. But I want to get back to Massie for a second, just so you understand how determined he is not to vote for Mike Johnson.
Get your vote for Mike Johnson.
Oh, no. You can pull all my fingernails out. You can shove bamboo up in them. You can start cutting off my fingers. I am not voting for Mike Johnson tomorrow. And you can take that to the bank.
So I'm not entirely sure, but I think Massie is a no vote. And just so we're clear, on the left, that was an actual human being, so to speak, Matt Gaetz. Yeah. Anyway, the Freedom Caucus, of course, does have some demands. It's highly likely that this one is going to be met. They want Chip Roy to be chairman of the House Rules Committee, a very important committee. One rep claimed that would be tantamount to putting Stalin in charge of Amnesty International. Here's what Lauren Boebert had to say.
I do believe that Mike Johnson coming out and committing to Chip Roy being the chairman of the Rules Committee would secure the vote on the first round with no significant battle afterwards.
Oops. Well, look, I mean, whether it was performative or actual, Mike Johnson was exuding confidence ahead of the vote, and he said that he wasn't going to make any deals. Clearly, he didn't, and it didn't work out particularly well for him. But before the voting even started, we had a great highlight. It was announced that Matt Gaetz would not be in attendance. This was the reaction of the House.
The clerk is in receipt of a letter from the Honorable Matt Gaetz of the state of Florida, indicating that he will not serve in the House in the 119th Congress. Without objection, the letters relating to his resignation will be printed in the record.
Honorable. He must have choked on that. Anyway, we also saw a tweet from Rep. Burchett, one of the potential holdouts, who said that this vote will take multiple rounds. So let's start with the vote. The first sign of trouble was when Andy Biggs, a member of the Freedom Caucus, didn't vote at all. And then Massie, not surprisingly, voted for Emmer. And then a couple of other Freedom Caucus members did not vote. But the next no vote was Rep. Norman, who voted for Jim Jordan, at which point the game was up. That was the last nail in the coffin. Remember, Johnson could only afford to lose one vote. And then we had Representative Self voting for Byron Donalds, gilding the lily. Interestingly, almost all of the Freedom Caucus holdouts, when they had the chance to have their names called again, voted for Johnson. So we ended up having the vote be 216 Johnson, 215 Hakeem Jeffries, 3 votes for other candidates who are unlikely to challenge Johnson at all. Before we continue, I just want to take a second and ask you, please like and share our video, subscribe to our channel. Once you do that, please click on the bell so you're sure to be alerted every time a new video drops. And if you're listening to the podcast, please give us a 5-star rating, follow the podcast. It really helps other people find our content. Okay, another highlight of the day, Delegate Stacy Plait, who is an absolute rock star, had this to say.
For what purpose does the gentlelady from the Virgin Islands seek recognition?
Speaker, I have a parliamentary inquiry. I note that the names of the representatives from the Americas, Samoa, Guam, Northern Mariana, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, and the District of Columbia were not called, representing collectively 4 million Americans. Mr. Speaker, collectively the largest per capita of veterans in this country.
Does the gentlelady have a parliamentary inquiry?
I asked why they were not called. Have some respect. It's not going to take...
Gentlelady is recognized.
I asked why they were not called from the parliamentarian, please.
Delegates-elect and the resident commissioner-elect are not qualified to vote. Representatives-elect are the only individuals qualified to vote in the election of a speaker. As provided in Section 36 of the House Rules and Manual, the speaker is elected by a majority of the members-elect voting by surname.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This body and this nation has a territories and a colonies problem. What was the...
She's 100% right. Stacy Plait really needs to be in a leadership position. And one of the many, many, many reasons Democrats need to regain power is to right that particular wrong. Okay, so where do things stand? Another vote is going to take place. I think it's likely that Johnson becomes speaker again, but at what cost? We know that Massey is a no vote unless he decides to have somebody pull off his fingernails. I don't know. And it also depends on what kind of concessions Johnson is willing to make to the Freedom Caucus, because they have no incentive to vote for him right now. So the consequences, if this continues to go on, is that the Republican majority is weaker. And we learn that Donald's sway is not as strong as it has been in the past. So the more and more destabilized the Republican Party will be, the better for us in some ways. And hopefully the Democrats will figure out ways to exploit those weaknesses. And hopefully in the not too distant future, we are going to get ourselves a Speaker Hakeem Jeffries. Probably not this time around, but with the dysfunction of the Republican Party, and especially in the House of Representatives, who knows? We'll keep you posted. Thanks.